you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new and just stopping by for the first time, my name is Ashley and I am a homeschooling mom to 4 kiddos, and I share all about our homeschooling journey here on my channel as well as other things. Today is going to be a Q2 update for our homeschool year 2018-2019. I am homeschooling my a 6th grader, 5th grader, 3rd grader, and 1st grader this year, and we are officially halfway done through our homeschool year. Yay! Halfway is week 18 because a traditional school calendar, I suppose, is like 36 weeks. So I consider completion of week 18 to be halfway through our school year. So I'm just gonna give you some updates on a few things that we have changed, or things that have been going well, or things not so going well for our Q2 update. So the first thing that I want to start with is our science unit. We were doing kingdoms and classifications from the good and the beautiful. And I mentioned in my Q1 update, which I will have go across the screen right here, that I changed from doing history and science at the same time to doing them swapping units. So I'll do a unit of history and then I'll do a unit of science, and then we'll go back and do unit 2 of history, and we were going to be doing that. Now with kingdoms and classifications, we finished that unit, and I will say it was amazing. It was amazingly done. My kids learned so much, and I am not even ashamed to say so did I. But I will say, because I got a lot of questions from you guys over on Instagram, which is where I share like daily interactions. So if you're looking for a little more Ashley in your life, you might want to follow me on Instagram, because I do share there almost every single day. But a bunch of people, when I would share little snippets of us doing that unit, were asking me, I want to do that unit, but do you think it really is good for the younger grades? Now, even though I work with the good and the beautiful, and that is no secret, I still am going to give you my honest opinion. I do think that that unit specifically is better for older kids. Now, my 6-year-old did sit in and listen and participated, but a lot of that was way over her head. And funny enough, my husband's bachelor's degree is in human biology, so he studied these things at a collegiate level, and even he was like, wow, they are really learning some, like, we covered that in college type stuff. So I will say that I do think the unit is geared more towards older kids to be able to grasp the full potential of the concepts, but I don't think it's wrong to introduce these ideas to younger kids, because my daughter was able to grasp that all living things are made up of cells, and all cells are not the same, and that there's living things we can't see with our eyes, like fungus and bacteria. So those were kind of her big takeaways, being 6 years old. And then my older ones were able to remember like the acronym for kingdom, phylum, class, order. Look, I remembered it too. And all those different things. We did use our microscope, so I highly recommend buying a microscope if you're going to do that unit. I have the one that I got linked down below off of Amazon. But yeah, that is my opinion. It was an amazing unit. I felt like even though we took our time with it, there was so much more that could have been pulled from it, that you could almost do it for way longer than just like 12 lessons. But I wanted to tell you, if you've got a kindergartner and a 1st grader, I might go with the human body or something a little bit different, because it just was high level thinking, if that makes sense, like concepts that require a higher level of thinking. So we finished that up, so that was great. So now into Q2, we are back in our 2nd unit of history, because we are using the good and the beautiful history year 1. So now we are doing the Middle Ages, and We are also doing a science, but it's really like a safety unit. And the reason why for this quarter, see, I am always changing things, you guys. The reason for this quarter why I'm not alternating and then doing the safety unit when we're done with the history unit is because the safety unit really is review for my older kids, and it's quick. It's not like breaking down the anatomy of a cell and looking under a microscope, and you know, it's just really conversational and doing a few activities. So it's definitely something I highly recommend. It was in my favorites video because I actually think that it's so beneficial, not even just for homeschoolers, but for parents in general. But I am doing the two in conjunction with each other because I can, and I'm not feeling overwhelmed by that. So for our quarter 2 update, I am doing safety from the good and the beautiful, and then unit 2 in our history, which is the Middle Ages, which is what we are currently in. Now, another thing that I wanted to touch on for this quarter 2 update is really going to be more talked about in a life update. But we are moving, and so once we wrapped up week 18, which was halfway through our school year, I went ahead and we are going to take a week, I am hoping, but I am allowing myself permission for 2 weeks to move and get set up. And we are moving into a smaller home temporarily, so I will not have a schooling room anymore. So if you guys want to see how I homeschool in a small space, let me know, and I'll do an updated tour for you guys. Let me know down below if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. But I'll talk about more specifically why we're moving and all those things in the life update, but it is an update for quarter 2 because we are taking 2 weeks off. So I stopped at week 18, and we're gonna probably take 1 or 2 weeks off and get set up and make our rental home that we're moving into feel cozy, and then we'll be back rolling with school. And the reason why I mention it here is because this is why year-round schooling for me is a huge blessing, because and also why in my scheduling video, I said this at the beginning of this school year, I said I don't pre-schedule all of my breaks because things come up and life happens. And when you school your children at home, they have to be able to work with life. You can't make life stop. And so I had a twinge of feeling like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Like we're gonna have to take a break, and I wasn't planning on a break because I wanted to take 2 weeks off in December, and I started to get a little stressed out, and then I just said, no, Ashlee, you are not gonna get stressed out. January, February are gonna roll around. You're not gonna have anything really going on. The holidays will be over, and we will hunker down and we will get our schoolwork done. I have no doubt in my mind about it. But I wanted to mention that I'm just grateful for the flexibility to be able to pause and let my kids do life with us as a family and participate and help and see, like, we set up and we, you know, and all those things. So that's an update for quarter 2 as well. Another thing that I wanted to mention in this quarter 2 update is that I have gone back to Horizons Math for 3 out of my 4 kiddos. Teaching textbooks was just not working for 2 of my kids. The youngest one was too young to give it a try, so she was always with her Horizons, but I did try it for all 3 of my kids, and unfortunately it just wasn't the right fit. For one of them, for my oldest, it wasn't the right fit for her because she cannot watch something and hear it and understand it. She has to be worked through things with problems with me, like very slowly, and now you try. And so there was no point in her doing like a virtual math lesson if I was gonna have to turn around and watch what she just learned so that I could explain it the same way. It was like doing double the work, and so she was getting super frustrated. It just was not working out. So she is doing level 6 with Horizons Math, and that is going a lot better for her. Now, my son, my second oldest, the one in 5th grade, teaching textbooks has been amazing for him. He loves it. He's excelling. So he's still with that. My number 3, who is in 3rd grade, is actually really above grade level in math. And with teaching textbooks, after math 7, it goes into pre-algebra. And he in 3rd grade could already do quite a bit of math 6. And I was just like, no, this is not gonna work because there's not gonna be enough for him following. So he is with Horizons still, and that is going really well for him for that reason, because the way that the concepts are taught with Horizons is a little bit different than teaching textbooks, and I couldn't find his right grade level. There just wasn't like a shoe-in fit. So he went back to Horizons, and that has been going really well for him. Another thing I wanted to update you guys on is I get asked a lot about like lessons, like how many do we do in a day? So everything that I do 1 lesson a day. So we do a math lesson, we do a handwriting page, we do a language arts lesson, which we are using the Good and the Beautiful as well. But being a mom of 4, at the beginning of the year, I thought, well, they'll probably all be on the same lesson. It'll just probably happen because we'll be doing 1 lesson a day. Well, with my younger one, there is just no way that she can complete. She's in 1st grade and she's doing level 1 with the Good and the Beautiful. And I want her to really understand it. So I'm not just gonna hurry her through her lesson for the sake of maintaining all of them being on the same number lesson, which I do like my type A, over the top organized self really does want them to all be on the same lesson, but it's just not gonna happen. So my older kids are like into the 60s of their lessons, and she is in the low 50s. And I'm following her lead. When I see that something is like hard or it's challenging or she doesn't quite understand it, I'm not just gonna move her through the lesson to be done with it and check the boxes. So I wanted to update you guys on that in case of any of you out there are the same as me and like, oh no, one kid's behind the others, which I'm just really letting go of all of that this year. I feel like this year I am just way more relaxed, and that is a really good feeling, especially with a lot of life things going on. So I wanted to cover those things with you guys. We are still going to be continuing with everything else. We finished reading Dr. Dolittle, which was a book we absolutely loved. I highly recommend it. We have already read The Door in the Wall, which is the read aloud suggestion for this history unit. So instead of doing that, we are reading through a book called God's Timeline, and I actually purchased it because lesson 17 in the Good and the Beautiful History Year 1 is to teach your kids the history of your church. And you guys were so helpful to me, and I can't thank you enough for those of you who recommended this book because I absolutely love it. I will link it down below for you guys. So our read aloud right now, we are continuing to read through that because I just find it fascinating and so awesome that I can teach my kids these things. So we are reading that as our read aloud for this quarter. So that is going to be everything for this quarter 2 update. There were quite a few things that I wanted to touch on and update you guys with. And most importantly, when you see some videos probably in December timeframe, you'll notice I do have a different area behind me, and that is because we are moving. So if you want to hear more about the move and why that's happening, you can watch my life update, which I will probably put up after this video. So thanks for watching. Thanks for spending some of your time with me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye guys.